Hey, welcome to ServiceSharp. This is a podcast all about ServiceNow. We will be talking strategy, architecture, technology, just everything ServiceNow. We are not affiliated with ServiceNow. The opinions expressed are our own. We are just a couple of people that are very passionate about the platform. So hope you'll join us for every episode. And without further ado, here we go. Hey, welcome to ServiceSharp. This is a podcast all about ServiceNow. We will be talking strategy, architecture, technology, just everything ServiceNow. We are not affiliated with ServiceNow. The opinions expressed are our own. We are just a couple of people that are very passionate about the platform. So hope you'll join us for every episode. And without further ado, here we go.
All right, welcome back. This is Jason Gibson with ServiceSharp. I have Brent Peters and Randy Haas with me. We are talking today about Portal and about user experience. So without further ado, Brent, let you introduce yourself, you and Randy.
Brent Peters, systems architect for ServiceNow, or on the ServiceNow app.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't work for ServiceNow.
Yeah. I'm Randy Haas. I'm just a guy that likes ServiceNow.
That's always that's kind of all of us. We all just like ServiceNow. So that's awesome. We're talking about portals, and one of the first things I wanted to talk to you about is something that I see pretty frequently, that people are building a portal and they don't know who they're building a portal for. So to be a little bit straightforward here, a portal is not for your IT department. Your portal is for your end users. And but who is that exactly, and how do you build it for them? Brent, do you have any thoughts on that?
I have all kinds of thoughts.
Maybe not on that, but I got lots of thoughts.
Well, I kind of do on that. There are now when you're saying portal, you mean the website that the end user goes to and talks and looks for information, puts in their tickets, checks on statuses, that kind of stuff.
Sure. When
I think portal, I think of any of those type of websites that you do in the service portal. So it's not just the end user site. You also have the timesheet portal. PPM now has a portal. There's all kinds of different portals in there. But end user, when you're no matter what kind of portal you're doing, end user, or you're doing something for timesheets, or you're doing some other special portal, you do need to focus on the end user, the customer that's going to be using it. So you got to make it formatted for them, easy for them, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think this is so important because, we frequently get the question about how do you get buy-in, how do you get the program to roll forward and get the company engaged. This is where you do it, is at the portal level, where the customer meets the product. You got to knock it out of the park.
Yes. Yep.
Well, and I find that portals, everybody wants to redo the portal from the out-of-the-box configuration. There's a lot of things you can do to configure it, staying within the realm of ServiceNow and actually not have to do major customizations or adding widgets.
Branding is the number one thing.
Yeah,
go in there and put in your colors, your company colors, or color schemes, that kind of stuff. That's the easiest thing to do.
I was talking to a customer today about changing the colors in their portal, the overall colors, and so changing the bootstrap colors. So for the people that don't really know what that is, that's kind of the standard colors that they're in the system in the portal, and you can change those basic colors by using your portal editor. So you go in there and you can actually go into the designer and change that, and you can change in it one place and it changes it throughout the portal. Do you think those kind of things are a good idea to brand into that granularity?
I kind of do, because if you can make it familiar to the employees. So one of the customers, mainly I've worked in like healthcare. So one of our customers that wanted the portal done, they wanted it to be the same colors and the same look and feel as their SharePoint sites that the nurses use every day. So it just made the nurses or the customers at that point more comfortable in using it. Oh, this is just another extension of this, even though it's two separate apps. It just made it more comfortable for them. So you got to kind of look at that kind of stuff. So yeah, just a branding kind of changed their view on it and made them go, oh, okay, I can do this.
Well, it makes them not think that they went to click the wrong link, if you would, and went to some other site that's spoofing them or trying to steal their information or something to that effect.
Yes.
That's kind of what I feel when I go from one site to another, and I'm like, something doesn't feel right. It just doesn't seem or look the same.
Yep. It kind of puts them at ease. Okay, this is it has our logo, it has our color scheme, it has the phone numbers to our service desk, that kind of stuff. So yeah, branding is a good way to make them comfortable to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go a little bit further and talk about, I hear constantly that you need to be Amazon-like, or that we need to make it where any user can get through and understand it, and developing it basically what I call for the least common denominator. Right. It's that low point.
Yeah. When I started in IT, they used to say, hey, write your manuals for a third grader. Well, nowadays, whenever you're starting to do websites and developing technology for people, you can't really say design it for a third grader, because third graders started using iPhones when they were babies. So they know technology better than most people. So design for the older generation so that it's easy to use.
Design it for the baby boomers.
Yeah, well, I'm close to that older generation, so I can understand that. But yes, you got to make it simple. You got to, which out of the box is not that bad. It's a little busy in my view, but they try to get as much info on one page as possible. But
that's a common mistake that IT people make when designing stuff, is trying to jam everything into one area, and you really need to keep it super simple. And I hear Amazon, but I always think of Apple. I mean, the reason why 3-year-olds can pick up iPhones and figure them out, and the reason why grandparents can pick them up and for the most part figure out all the basic functions, is because they spent a lot of effort and time figuring out how to make it the simplest, most useful interface that they could do.
Yes.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Well, and that's one of the reasons I really hate it when people talk about Amazon. Because if you go to Amazon, it is not a simple site. If you've never been to Amazon, you do have some basics. Okay, I need to shop, and there's a search, and then but it's not really a simple website. And
go to Amazon and try to get a chat. I mean, they're not easy to find.
No,
but there's a reason.
Right.
Okay, I just brought up an out-of-the-box portal, and I have not seen this in a while. And yeah, it's very busy. I remembered it being busy, but this is busier than what I remembered. So
they went even further. But I'm going to tell you that but I see people take that one that's already a little busy and make it.
Yep.
They make it so much busier. They want everything on that front page. I get it. You want to reduce clicks. Absolutely. But reducing clicks and sacrificing the UI in the end is just not going to get you where you want to go.
Right. One thing that I will have to say that if because Portal's not that hard to do, but widgets are a little different. So if you don't know the Angular language and all that kind of stuff, building a custom widget is kind of fun. But there are some out-of-the-box widgets that you can always go out and add your tweaks to, so you can make it a instance of that widget on that page. So cleaning it up, it can be kind of easy, but moving things around, renaming things does help, and try to keep it clean and and pointed towards your customer that's going to be using it.
Yeah, clean and simple. But also, don't change the functionality of the system. There's a reason that there is the button that allows you to create an incident, right? There's a reason that there's a button that goes to the catalog. I've seen customers come in and go, well, we're going to have it create, for example, an interaction. And so instead of an incident, it creates an interaction that goes to the service desk. Service desk gets overloaded. Chat goes crazy. Everything gets insane, and they want to change it back. And so I've seen that happen many times before, where they change a functionality, a core functionality, not just any function, but a core functionality, and they're not really usually very happy with it, because the long-term strategy is keeping it simple, keep it as out of box as possible with the configurations and that you can do. Now, you said it, you can take all that stuff off the bottom, clean that up, make 3 buttons, and you can do that without any kind of customization.
Right. Yep. And
so that's clarity,
that's
right?
Easy to do. Yes.
People don't understand that when you're messing with the portal, as long as you're not changing widgets in the code itself, now that doesn't mean configuring widgets. You can configure a widget all day long.
Yep.
But if you're going in and you're changing the code and you're copying the widget and you're using the copy, that's a little different. But there's so much you can do to make it better without doing any of that.
Right. Now, you can do that, but you can make it better without having to do that. So it is kind of a, point and click. They do have the designer, the page designer, and the widget designers, that kind of stuff. So that helps kind of move you along, point you where you need to go. But to go back to your don't change the functionality thing, I really agree with that. The point of this portal is to kind of help the customer do a self-service kind of thing. The original portal that they had, the content one, it was a employee self-service. So it was pointed towards self-service. They call it service portal now, but it's still self-service. You try to automate so that the middleman doesn't get in there. If I open a request to order a laptop, I don't want that to go to the service desk every time. I want it to go to the people that are going to actually get me the laptop.
Exactly.
So try to make those as streamlined as possible.
Yeah, it's hard. I know people want an easy button, right? They want an easy button. They want to walk in and say, and there is some of that with ServiceNow. If you want an easy button, go get chat with a virtual agent, because you can build the conversations, and that is a fairly simple, very, very wonderful system to create that kind of easy button. But don't try and create an easy button without the easy button.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had the request of having a button that would just, pretty much read the mind of the user and log a ticket for them. That's not going to happen. No. You can't do that. But I can give them 3 buttons and say, click the one that pertains to what you want.
Well, the other thing I don't understand is if you look at the portal, there was the last portal. There's one portal that I have that is your catalog, which is request something, your incident, which is something's broken, and knowledge, which is knowledge, which often we change to policy or whatever they want. But those are 3 basic, just very distinct things. Is something broken? Are you requesting something, or do you want knowledge? I don't see why they keep coming back sometimes and going, we just don't know where to go.
Right. And that's another thing where we were talking about earlier. You got to point it towards your customer. What are the customers going to be doing? If you don't talk to your customer, at least talk to your service desk and say, hey, when the customers call in, what do they say?
Right.
Oh, this is broken. Okay, well, then put something broken, and they click that. Or I need to order something. Well, okay, put a button that says order here or something like that. So you kind of have to kind of lean towards their language of how they do things too, within a reason.
I think that's extremely important. Do your research. Take the time to figure out how the customer is going, how they generally like to interact with the system, and then design it to match what your culture is.
Yes.
Because that makes a huge difference. You want it to be as natural as possible, and it's not easy, but I mean, you can break it down into smaller categories and drive them through the process if you know enough about what they're going to be looking for.
Right.
I'll never forget the first Knowledge I went to. Netflix presented their portal, and this was way back before. Oh my goodness, this was.
Wasn't it Eureka?
What? Yeah, Eureka or.
Yeah, I think so.
Eva one. Yeah, it was Eureka. And anyways, they had their portal looking just exactly like a Netflix catalog.
Yep.
And so people walked up and they had a little movie cover and it said something broken. And they had another movie cover and it said need to get something. And you know what I mean? And the people could just drive right through it. And their adoption rate was sky high with it.
Yep.
Because their self-service adoption rate was sky high with it because of how much thought they put into it. But you've got to do that. You've got to...
yeah, you got to plan it out. You got to get their buy-in, their help on that kind of stuff, and focus towards them. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
No, I was just going to say there's nothing wrong with customizing it to and even doing those massive customizations and building the widgets and really making it your own. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you understand that you will support those widgets.
Right. Yep. Yeah, once you clone a widget, it's yours. They're not going to support it for you. But yeah, I mean, getting that going but even if you don't clone a widget, you can take the order something button that they already have on there and pull it up in Designer and change the word verbiage, that kind of stuff. So, but it also goes to if you order something, you click that and then you have 600 categories in your catalog, that's going to be an issue too. So you have to keep all of the design of the portal and your catalog and how the forms look and that kind of stuff towards your customer, because the customer is not going to fill out a form that has 600 questions on it. They're just going to go, never mind, I'm calling the phone number and waiting on hold for 20 minutes.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is pretty much constantly in each catalog item or not catalog item in each category, there doesn't need to be more than 10 or 12 items if you can get to it now, but you don't need more than 10 or 12 categories either. So there's a balancing act. If you have a huge catalog, you've got to be able to balance. You don't want anything with one in it because that was just ridiculous, right?
Right. So you got to do that, but you also, there are some exceptions to that, by the way, that I've run into with like hardware, because it's kind of hard if they allow anybody in their in the corporation to log in and order whatever they want from the system, like cables. You've got to have every cable that is available in there. So you could end up having 100 cables as different items. But so there is those exceptions, but you also want to keep it as easy and categorized as a customer would think. So you're not going to put something about network cards. You're going to say computer accessories or something that they're used to. Like if you go to Best Buy, you're not going to be looking for specific things. They categorize them that way. So you kind of have to look at that kind of stuff, especially towards how your customers call the things. Back to that.
Well, exactly. Plus, we can't forget there's a great search function in ServiceNow.
Yes. Yep.
You need to. I think you should work as very hard on showing and teaching your users to use the functionality of search. Now, a lot of people have said to me, "It's the worst search ever. I never can find anything," and I have an answer for that, because what has happened is there are metadata in every one of those catalog items, and if you haven't put the correct metadata in there, they're not going to be able to find it right. They're going to have to count the title.
It goes back to, what does the customer call it?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So get that metadata, do your research, get that in there, because that will help everybody.
I have recently, in the last year or so, redesigned the service portal for our corporate users to use. And whenever we sat down to do this analysis of how we were going to design it, what would be best for our customers, we talked to customers, that kind of stuff. One of the options that was that brought up was, don't put any buttons, just have the search, and everything goes through search. They go in and, what do you want today? So we looked at doing that, and whenever we tested against our customers, we gave them two options. They liked the one that had the 3 buttons and the search option. So we went with that. But that was, once again, we asked the customers. So, but you're right. On the search meta, you have to be able to target that to the stuff that they're going to search for. One of the best things is we have a leave request form in our system. And so we call it leave request. Well, some of the customers were calling it paid time off form, that kind of stuff. So we had to go in and update the search functionalities so that those keywords could be searched also. So you just have to kind of update for that.
You do, and it's all continual it's continual improvement, right? I mean, you constantly have to be updating metadata, and if you are like most of us and you don't have a team of 47, it is difficult sometimes. So put things on a schedule. When you get it done, say, I'm going to address metadata, in
right.
September of every year, you address that metadata. You make scheduled times to do those kind of improvements with the system, especially when it comes to, making it functional for your end user.
Right.
So,
I have a question for you, Jason.
Okay.
How do you feel about taking and personalizing the portal for your customer, for each individual customer?
So I like some things, like you can put
generically. I mean, like, you bring it up and it says, "Hello, Brent."
Yeah, I think it's really unique. I think it's really neat. I don't think it doesn't add any functionality, but it does give that, hey, that's cool feeling to it. Anything more than that, because that's actually something you can do fairly easily.
Yep.
Anything like major stuff might be a little more sketchy to me, but little stuff like that I think is great.
The two things that our customers liked when I redesigned the portal was that one of them was that it said, "Hello, Brent," because it acknowledged that they were somewhere that knew who they were. So I don't know, they kind of liked it. Gave them a warm, fuzzy feeling, I guess. The other thing that we implemented, very custom, very, very custom kind of thing, is we allowed them to make catalog items and knowledge articles, mark them as favorites. And they really liked that because they could customize it. Well, they're not customizing the page, but now they have a place that they can go, and it's a custom list of things that they do all the time. So they really liked that.
That seemed pretty cool. I saw that when we were looking at that the other day. I thought that was really a neat thing. I don't know. The question is the juice worth the squeeze, as a friend of mine says? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But if your end user if they're in the portal a lot and that's really important to them, and you've talked to them and that's something that they want, I don't see why you wouldn't just jump at building something.
It's weird because we redesigned our portal, we had the out of the box with a few customizations on it. And people were like, this is kind of clunky. We didn't like how it works, that kind of stuff. So we sat down and we did the redesign. We talked to the customers, that kind of stuff. But we didn't do a huge marketing thing other than, hey, the site's updated. It's going to look a little different. Here's a video tutorial on how to use it. And our usage actually in the next week, as soon as I deployed it, that full week and the next week, our use on that portal tripled. And it has actually stayed at that level since then. It goes up and down every once in a while, but we tripled our user by doing that because people were like, "Oh my gosh, this works!"
That's awesome. The user engagement is huge, and that's also why I really like the agent, the virtual agent as well, because I think it drives that same kind of engagement.
I could see that, yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing, and guys, this is a work in progress. And so it's crawl, walk, run, right?
Right.
So get your portal to where it's looking pretty good out of the box, and then move it up from there. How many renditions of the portal have you done for that company?
My full-time job, let's see, about 4 or 5 major revisions.
Sure.
There are certain things like a couple months ago we added the system status button to our portal so they can go see what's going on, kind of stuff. So we added that, but yeah, major additions 4 or 5 since we have put it out there, and it's just gotten more use ever since.
That's amazing. Plus, I'm going to tell you, I will say, and in later podcasts when we're doing video, we're going to do some showing of things. But I'm going to tell you that the portal that you built for that organization, the most current one, is my favorite portal that I have seen in years. So, it's a really great portal, or it's very simple, very, straightforward. It still has the same thought process. You didn't change the functionality of ServiceNow.
No, we didn't change the functionality, but it is it's what I always preach not to do.
It is custom.
It is a very, very custom thing, but
they have somebody like you that can support it. Man, right. A lot of these companies don't have somebody like that that can support it.
Right. And it's not like we went and made custom functionalities. What we did was we didn't like the shape of the buttons. So we went and cloned the icon widget, and we just changed the code so that we could have a round button, or we did this and all. So it wasn't like we changed all the background functionality. We just changed it so we could change the look. So some of it is background function, but yeah.
Yeah, some of it's background function, but not all.
Not most of it. Yeah.
Right.
I think that the one area that it's okay to customize if it's effective is the end user experience.
Yes.
Because I said, that's where you get the buy-in at.
Yep.
Well, right. When what I'm going to do is let's take a quick break. Let's listen to our sponsor. Take a moment. Now, remember, guys, we are not affiliated or associated with ServiceNow in any way.
Yep.
We are just a few nerds that absolutely love ServiceNow and think that it's like the best thing. So, again, just understand that, and we will be back after these quick words.
This podcast was made with Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to create and publish your podcast. It's free. Creation tools with it allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Helps you distribute your podcast. It's super simple to publish to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, any of the major ones. You can make money from your podcast. There's no minimum listenership, so they make it super easy to monetize. It's really everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So why don't you go out and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started.
All right, we're back. This is Jason Gibson again with Brent and Randy at ServiceSharp. We are talking about end user experience and in the portal. We've talked a little bit about when it's right to customize and when it's not. And
I wanted to make a point about that, and it's very simple, because if you have the team to support it today, but you don't necessarily think that you'll have the team to support it forever, right? So then don't do it. If you think that, nope, we got the right people, we're always going to have somebody to support it, then building in those configurations and customizations on the portal can deliver really good results inside, your organization with your end users. And it might, and it might be worth it, right? But it might not. So it goes down to the business case. Just make your business case. Make sure that the desire and the need and the benefit outweighs the customization issues, which are upgrade stuff, and making sure that if they change something, you have to change something with them. Things to that effect.
Well, I agree, especially on the current support. I mean, it's not always something you're going to know whether you're going to have those support forever, because things change quite a bit. But I would say that you need to, just as any software development platform you need to have a good documentation policy. And you ought to have a run book somewhere that says this is the add-ons we created, and this is the reason why we did that. And it doesn't have to be an exhausting novel. It can just be the name of the add-on. This is the table that we created. This is the hooks and everything like that, so that people coming in later can read that, get up to speed, and know why you did something.
Absolutely. And the nice thing is, if you do that kind of documentation and you do the kind of commenting in your code, that's another really important thing. The people who are doing it need to comment the code really well. So build it right, comment the code, do great documentation, put it in your knowledge base. There's no reason why you couldn't put in your knowledge base all the things that you've changed. You don't have to put it on an Excel spreadsheet somewhere. So I think it's just a good idea to do.
And I know documentation can be a drag, but it's not just for future users. It's for you too, because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I could get up and go get a Coke and come back and forget what I was doing. I really wish I commented what I was going for here.
I was about to say the same thing, because I can go back and look at the script and go, okay, what was I doing here? Oh, yeah, I have a comment. That's what I was doing. So, yes, it helps me when I go back a year and a half later to go, okay, now how did I do this? So,
well, and you learn it, right?
Do what?
Yep.
You learn it. You make that mistake. You go back and you go, I have no idea what I did on this. And then you spend 2 hours trying to figure out how you created it in the first place. And you learn, I need to make sure and document this.
Yep.
I got a question. This is going to be ignorance on my part, because I haven't really kept up with the portal a whole lot.
There's no stupid questions.
Yeah, there are. Trust me. But has ServiceNow adopted gamification principles and stuff like that for the portal? Is that available? And what are your thoughts on it if it is?
I don't think they really have yet. Okay. Yeah, it's getting better every rendition that they come out with, but there's a lot of things that would be nice if they'd add.
Well, and I'm not sure I understand what you mean by gamification of it.
Well, the gamification is just a principle where, in order to drive user engagement, you give badges and things like that, and so you earn points for submitting tickets on the portal, or you earn points for voting on a knowledge base article or something like that. And as you earn points interacting with the system, your badge goes up, maybe showing that you're, whatever level. And it's a simple psychological hook to get people, engaged. It works quite a bit.
Well, that does work quite a bit on the ServiceNow developer portal.
Right, the community.
Have that. Community has it.
Yeah.
but I don't think the individual portals yet. They do allow for feedback, but there's no point system yet. That is kind of a neat thing that maybe one of us should look at creating for ServiceNow, and maybe an idea that might be a good custom app, something like that.
Well, it'd have to be custom within you'd have to come up with some kind of widgets and scoring and that kind of stuff in the portal. But yeah,
that'd be a blast to build, though. I mean, really,
Yep.
You can make it Star Wars themed, and everything is some sort of Star Wars badge. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, the nerd's coming out of me right now.
Actually, if you were gonna do it, it'd be better probably to do that towards the organization. So I already said healthcare is where I've done most stuff. So you could do it all healthcare terms.
Yeah, something relevant to the user base.
Yep.
Without trying to offend somebody. You never know. I mean, the lowest badge has to be thought out really carefully because, nobody wants it.
Lowest badge is always IT person.
Okay, well, that works. Yeah. That does work.
I would just let HR approve my badges and not worry about that part.
Exactly.
Get feedback from marketing.
Yeah.
That actually is kind of a cool idea. So I don't know. Maybe on my spare time I'll ping something out.
Spare time? What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, what else? Anything else we got to talk about?
What, are you in a hurry?
No. I'm just
Are there other times?
I doubt people want to hear us sit here and just be silent.
So. Yeah. True. That's true. I mean, we watch paint dry or something. No. So one of the things that I want to talk about that we haven't talked about, and I know that we don't have a lot of time left, but is what Brent brought up early on, and that's the portal ability to reach out to other parts of the organization that aren't IT, that aren't looking for self-service, things that are custom portals. Like we built a portal for the Stevenson Cancer Center, and we've built portals for all kinds of different things. So what have you seen that you thought was like the coolest portal? What do you think everybody should build? Is there any kind of suggestions around any of that?
No, I mean, it's mainly up to what your needs are for the self-service portal is probably the most primary one that people would put out and use. Then there are the ones out of the box or get loaded with plugins like I mentioned, timesheet portal, the project portal, that kind of stuff.
I've seen. I saw a portal one created. I actually was a part of the project, but actually didn't build the portal. But they built a portal that was built for. It was basically it's IT staff, but they were a tier 1, so they were out in each of the different organizations that were affiliated. And so they built a tier 1 portal. That was a pretty good idea. And as far as being able to get to the stuff that they're specifically trying to do, it was good. I liked the portal. The portal outreaches that don't have anything to do with IT. I know that's weird, but I really like the fact that ServiceNow can reach out to other parts of your organizations. I mean, we worked with the police department to do a portal for them to track their contacts with the people that they've been seeing while they were on patrol. Things to that effect. We worked with another customer to create a public form that they can fill out that saves to encrypted database with PHI. So there's lots of cool stuff out there. So don't be limited by, this is only has to be for the IT side. It only has to be IT portal. Now that is the primary focus of what is built out for currently is for the ServiceNow applications.
It's just an example of what could be done.
Exactly. It's just an example of what can be done. So.
We built a custom application that will allow that allows our nurses to go and re-up or point out to log that they've renewed their certifications and that they've taken classes, that kind of stuff. All this was done through a paper process, and with Jason's help, and then I took it over once he left my organization, went somewhere else and left me.
Sorry, man.
We built all that, but the customer needed somewhere they could go to check on the statuses and all this kind of stuff. So I didn't want to mix that all in with their IT, their service IT stuff. So I built a portal for them to go in. They could log it from there. They could see the status. Their directors could go in and approve them, all that kind of stuff, all from that one portal. So it was focused just for that. So that was always nice too. And they've enjoyed that because it's easy for them to use.
And it's quicker to build. So you say, you asked me, why build it here? Why do that? A couple reasons. The biggest reason, in my personal opinion, is because you can build it significantly faster. The reality is when you're building a full application and a full portal, outside of ServiceNow, the development time is significantly more. So it's a great place to have it. You already own it.
Yep.
So you might as well utilize it better.
Right. And if you're storing the data in ServiceNow, you might as well pull it out through ServiceNow or input it through it. So using the portal is just a great way to do it. And if you do your themes correctly and the portal stuff, you can have the same theme across all the others. It's however you want to do it, but it is a quick and easy way, once you get the hang of it, to create portals. I've actually created several now because of that kind of process. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Low-hanging fruit with high impact is pretty sweet.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Well, and I've noticed that too. It seems like I can do some amazing things in the system that don't really get as much recognition as you do a great thing in the portal. Maybe not as amazing or not as great or but you're going to get more visibility and more people coming to the platform every time you do that. And the portal is a great way to really engage the customer and have them start buying in and bringing that back into ServiceNow.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I know this was a little shorter than our normal 4-hour meeting, but glad you guys are on the phone.
There's probably some people relieved about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like our listeners probably. They're like, oh my gosh, that's great. They're not going to go so long this time. But
I don't have to hit the fast forward button so much.
They're going to be like, hey, it only says like 30 minutes or so. Is this a complete episode?
So where's the rest? Yeah. Well, thank you guys, and I appreciate you joining me. And we've got some other great topics coming up. We've been talking about those. One I'm particularly excited about. So keep in mind that we do love your feedback. So get out there, drop us our feedback, and look at the show notes, and we may put something fun or interesting or some code in there that we talked about on the show. So I guess till next time, I'll see you then.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. I got to find.
Okay. Not enough time?